Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to my channel. So a few months ago I made a video about how modern horror sucks. And yeah, there's there's some opinions in there, but that's just it. They're my opinions and everyone's got a different opinion on what's good or what's bad. And while I still think most modern horror movies are too tame for my tastes, I do still love horror and there's quite a bit that I like. So to balance out the negative, I thought I'd talk about some of my favorite horror movies in the past 10 years. As for the drawing I'm doing, well, blabbing away, I was in the middle of something kind of reminiscent of Vampirella. Basically, Vampirella, only covered in blood instead of her costume. Not that her costume ever really covered much. Also, one thing that's always annoyed me is YouTube commenters talking over like 8 minutes of Minecraft gameplay. I'm honestly getting bored of content creators that don't create any actual content aside from reactions or baseless commentary. Like, fucking do something. Paint a picture, cook a meal from scratch, build a fucking table, do something, anything, while you do your self-aggrandizing commentary. I don't need to see you hit blocks in Minecraft or run around some empty game map the whole time. At least movie reviewers that use movie footage in context with what they're talking about make sense. Now, you could ask, what does a naked goth girl have to do with my favorite horror movies? And my answer is, if you have to ask, you haven't watched enough horror movies. Anyway, let's get this going. Modern horror, yeah. I'm not a fan of the current trend of stale family dramas masquerading as horror movies where nothing happens until the end. However, I already have a video about that. The past 10 years has been pretty split for me. On the one hand, horror has gotten stale, but on the other, it's grown bigger than it ever has. So instead of focusing on the films I don't like this time, I want to focus on the films I actually do like. Now, I'm only going to go over movies made in the last 10 years, and I think it's fair enough to consider 2015 to 2025 modern. So while movies like the original Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Saw are some of my favorites, including them would make this video too long, and shit, it's already getting too long. The first movie I absolutely loved in 2015 was Guillermo del Toro's gothic haunted house movie, Crimson Peak. I'm not sure why more people don't talk about it, since it's a fucking beautiful movie. Now, yeah, the story is pretty thin, but the design and creature effects were and are still top-notch. Strangely enough, most of it was done with practical effects. There wasn't really much CGI in the movie, except I think for some touch-ups here and there. Crimson Peak really is awesome if you like gothic horror. The next one, also in 2015, I absolutely loved was Robert Eggers' The Witch. Now, I know I've complained before about hating slow movies, but there's a difference between slow and slow burn. See, The Witch is a slow movie, but there's always something pushing the story forward. Even in its quiet moments, there's important things going on, and it stays tense the entire time. That's what makes it slow burn. It gets to the point fairly quick, and it unfolds at a steady pace, unlike a movie like Pearl, which is just slow and nothing happens until the end. So no, The Witch was slow horror done right. 2016 had The Belko Experiment, which was a fun, little gruesome, fucked up black comedy. Don't Breathe was also good, except for the ending. Fuck. Look, I get that what the main character did was fucked up, but his daughter was killed by the woman he kidnapped. He gets some leeway in my book. I'm not saying that what he did was right, but I understand. I honestly don't see him as a villain. I think he should have been the only one to live, honestly. Kind of like the end of Law Abiding Citizen. All of his actions were justified. And if you don't agree, fucking fight me. Sorry. 2016 also started a franchise with my current favorite new horror icon, Terrifier. I have a whole video on that series, so you can go check that out. But my favorite movie that year was The Void. It mixed everything that I love about Lovecraftian horror, and surprise, it's not just monsters with tentacles. I don't know why people think Lovecraftian means tentacles. You obviously haven't read much Lovecraft if that's what you think. No, it's about fear of the unknown, being trapped, going mad from not knowing if you're the real you or your doppelganger is the real you. It's letting the dark take over. It's embracing your personal nightmares, cults worshipping world-ending gods. And The Void hits all of that. It's essentially about a group of people trapped in a hospital while they go through all the stuff I mentioned. Okay, and tentacles. 2017 had Alien Covenant. And I'm just kidding. Fuck that lore-breaking, nonsensical, out-of-pocket, flute-playing robot piece of shit. Fucking hate that movie. The Ritual was pretty good, though, from that year. The next horror movie I liked didn't come out until 2020, come to think of it. I went and looked back and saw what year's movies came out. And yeah, 2018 and 2019 just kind of sucked. For me, anyway. There might have been something you liked. And if there is, go ahead and share it in the comments. We can talk about stuff and bitch and argue. It's the internet, hey. The Empty Man was kind of an occult, supernatural, psychological thriller that came out in 2020. That was poorly marketed and had a terrible release. It's unfortunate because it's actually a really good movie. The trailer and marketing, though, made it look like a teen ghost movie, which it isn't at all. It's closer to Jacob's Ladder than Scream. Again, surprisingly decent movie. 2020 also had a fun Lovecraftian horror movie. Another one. Underwater, which was basically a mix of Deep Star 6 and every underwater horror movie from the 80s, with fucking Cthulhu at the end. It's one of the few times I could actually stand Kristen Stewart. 2021 brought us Halloween Kills, which was okay, but my favorite movie that year was Malignant. Yes, fucking Malignant. Sorry, it's awesome. It's stupid, batshit crazy. It's got twists and turns that start off as a haunting, then it goes into possession, then it goes full-on body horror, but it's also a fucking ninja kung fu movie. Yes, it's stupid. Yes, it's ridiculous. And yes, it's also a good time. The kind of people that don't like Malignant eat well-done steak with ketchup. VHS 94 was also okay that year. I wasn't expecting this to turn into a yearly countdown, but here we are. Let's keep going. Shit, where was I? 2022. Let's see. Glorious. A movie about a cosmic being living in a rest stop bathroom. Was pretty good. And we had the Hellraiser reboot, which was actually not too bad and nailed the look of the Cenobites from the original novella, but the main characters and the whole recovering junkie and her boyfriend storyline was just fucking stupid. It kind of missed the point of Hellbound Heart, and that was lust and infidelity. The whole heist thing felt forced, but I did like the second half of the movie, and that the puzzle box, the lament configuration, changed with each, configuration. Not bad, but not great. It was a decent addition. I'm not going to completely knock the Hellraiser remake, surprisingly enough. Terrifier 2 also came out that year, and holy shit, yeah, pure carnage. The menu was also fun because it was so different and made fun of all the pretentious shit that I just can't stand. 2023 wasn't too bad with Saw X, or Saw 10, which is the best in the franchise since, I want to say, Part 3. I really liked Saw X, or 10, even if it went a bit too long. No One Will Save You is also a great hidden gem about alien abduction with almost no talking at all. It's pretty unsettling, actually. I really liked it a lot because really, I haven't seen a movie like that in a while. And honestly, you would think there'd be more alien abduction movies out there in the horror genre, considering how fucking creepy the premise is. What else came out that year? Infinity Pool by Brandon Cronenberg. Brandon Cronenberg was one of the biggest mindfucks I saw in a while. It's not for everyone, but I like strange stuff. It's basically about cloning and using your clones for your own murder fantasies. It's pretty fucked up, and like I said, weird. Execution could have been a little bit better, but I can kinda let it slide. In the past 2 years, though, the horror movies I enjoyed the most were Immaculate with everyone's favorite Gene girl, Sydney Sweeney, and really, people getting mad over a fucking Jeans ad and a play on words. Are you serious? Like, that's the hill you're gonna die on? It's fucking stupid. Terrifier 3 also came out not too long ago. Final Destination Bloodlines was decent. Not the best one, but I had fun with it. And surprisingly enough, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Heart Eyes, which is kind of a rom-com slasher movie. Rom-com slasher movie was actually really fun, and I watched that on a flight to Ireland along with Thunderbolts, but that has nothing to do with horror, which I was surprised Thunderbolts was actually pretty good. Hard Eyes was a really fun movie, surprisingly enough, and the humor actually fit, which is really hard to do in horror unless, it's Evil Dead or Terrifier. But I think my favorite recent horror movie is probably 28 Years Later. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I had the best time seeing that. It's the most violent, brutal movie I've seen in a while. And it may not be my favorite of the 28 years, months, or days, whatever franchise. I think weeks is. But I liked it a lot. Regardless of people call it 28 inches later. if you've seen it, you know. So yeah, there are lots of good horror movies that have come out here and there. And most importantly, even if I don't like something, I'll admit there is something for everyone. I'm not just a hater just to hate. I don't just go around saying, oh, this movie's a piece of shit, this movie sucks, because it doesn't personally adhere to my standards. I have my own tastes. I have stuff that I like. You have stuff that you like. Everyone has their own thing. I will say even the movies I don't like, for whatever reason, in any other video or anything I review, doesn't mean that I don't like them for their artistic merit or their production value. They're still good movies. I just think some of them are too slow, or they could have been gorier, or could have been darker, could have been more sadistic. Some movies could have been just more something. It doesn't have to just be more blood and guts, but just more, I don't know, something. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I have a cold in case you couldn't tell. Kind of congested. So, here's to another decade of blood, guts, trauma, and psychological terror. Let me know your favorite recent horror movies, and if you like what I do, please hit that like and subscribe. I will see you on the next one.